Good morning, everyone. If I get my volume up, there we go. All right. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
How's everyone?
Good morning.
Good.
Good.
Is everyone not hearing me? Hang on.
I can hear you.
No.
We can hear you.
Yeah, you
Can
sound clear.
everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Scott.
Hi, Scott.
We'll give it
Missed
a
my meet.
few.
You missed my meeting
Yes.
last week. I was looking for you.
It was our last morning.
I can't hear you. That's the problem.
Oh, Tanya, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
I think Bobby has a moment going on. Oh, now we can't hear you, Bobby.
Yeah. Uh, last Saturday was
Now?
our last early morning baseball game.
Oh, cool.
So got two more weekends of baseball, then we're done with spring ball.
And then here comes summer.
Then we'll see if we're doing travel during the summer.
Those are my favorite days. The
Aren't they
days of
cool?
baseball.
At least the travel ones during the summer are a little bit later morning, so it doesn't usually interfere with the morning meeting.
What do you have you ever had your kids into soccer?
No, my sister played soccer, and my dad was a started as a linesman and then became a referee, and
Oh,
then just really thrived in it and liked it, and then he went all the way up to the highest rating that you can get to officiate soccer. Like he can officiate like any level of soccer, professional all the way down to children.
cool.
Wow.
But soccer was never something for me. I played baseball and I'm a golfer.
I
Soccer
don't play golf.
is just a Saturday killer. You will never have a Saturday once you start soccer.
Yeah. And what I know about soccer is they're always so early, like your 7 a.m. games. Like we had a
Yeah.
one of my son's buddies has a tournament today. They had to be at the fields out in like Orange County somewhere at 6:30 in the morning.
Jeez.
I said, nope.
Yeah, that's just too much. All righty. Well, I'm ready to go. Okay. Let me go grab my glasses. I will be right back. And then we'll start.
We went from cold and rainy winter to it's like summer out the last 2 days.
It's a
It was
hundred.
so bad. It was 104 yesterday.
Yeah,
It was hot.
I thought my temperature in my truck was off because I'm like, I'm parked in the shade, but maybe the sun was on it because it was like it said 100 degrees. And I'm like, oh, as I start driving, it'll, drop down. And nope. I'm like, golly, it was just like
Yeah.
winter yesterday. Now it's summer.
It's supposed to rain on Wednesday too. Go back to 67 and rain. And then it'll go back to 75 or something. It's gonna stay mild, thank God, because it's 100. Something like else already. It's hot already. It's like 85 out there right now. It's hot.
Wild.
All right, so let's get started. I love this group. I mean, this feels like our core group. It feels like you guys are the winners. You guys are the ones that are gonna do, you know how they say, what is that? The Prater principle? 80% of the, or 20% of the people do 80% of the work. Well, welcome to the 20%. Because this truly is the 20%. Rachel was going to be here, but she is sick. She's trying to figure out what is wrong with her actually. But so
Probably caught it on a cruise.
huh?
That you probably caught it on a cruise.
And I hate to say that because
Yeah.
COVID is really bad on cruises right now.
Well, I asked her to take a COVID test. She took it and it didn't come out positive, but she's been sick for 4 weeks. Something
Oh, geez.
happened.
Like a
What is
neuro.
that Legionnaire's disease you get on a, I don't
I
know.
know neurovirus is big on a cruise right now too. They're
That's
talking about
probably what it is.
the new strand
Yeah.
that's out right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
She needs to go to the doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I took all those shots before I left for my cruise a couple months ago. I took every shot.
Smart, very smart. All right, so
Bobby,
yeah. Oh, you want?
is it okay if I go first? Because I have to leave at
Yeah.
10.
Oh, yeah. No, of course. Go ahead.
Okay. First and foremost, because I haven't been on here the last 2 weeks, Ashley, congratulations. Super proud of you.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. And everyone else, are you feeling things heating up?
Yes.
I know I'm feeling it.
Oh my God.
Especially,
Yep.
like you said, we're on here doing business. We're trying to push forward and make things happen. So I've got buyers looking with Chastity. Bobby, we got stuff going on. Tanya, we got stuff going on. I got a buyer appointment with Trina on Monday. So I'm definitely seeing things heating up. So good job, everyone.
Wow.
Yeah.
Trina's got a buyer also?
Yeah, she collects I don't know if her and her sister own a property or her sister owns a property and she manages it.
Yeah.
But she started talking with the girl Laura and her husband Eder, and they've wanted to buy and they just kind of been putting it off.
Yeah.
So I spoke to them on Thursday and they're ready to move forward on Monday with doing an application. So
That's so cool.
yep.
Right on.
So,
It's
and it just
working.
went, I think she went there to go pick up the rent and then the conversation happened and
Yeah.
here we go.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited. That's really
Yeah.
good. She
Yep.
was one that came in and said, I just want to do it part-time. And, you can do it part-time as long as you do it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Well, good for her.
And you
I
put a
think,
deal in, that's a nice part-time paycheck.
heck yeah. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Exciting.
All right. Loan wise, so Feds met this week. Rates remain unchanged. I kind of get a little kick out of it because we have two butting heads. President wants Jerome to drop rates, and Powell is like, nope, we're not dropping rates, and they're kind of like button heads. So the Feds held the federal funds rate. Based on the talk, it sounds like we might get our first cut at the next meeting. So we'll see what happened. And some of the numbers that came in, labor market added 177,000 jobs, but GDP dropped by 0.3%. So kind of they don't coincide with each other. Main reason for holding rates, Jerome Powell stated that the potential for the new tariffs could drive inflation and unemployment higher. We did see, I don't know if it's gone in place yet, but the European Union has agreed on talks with trade. So that could be a good thing as far as those tariffs not causing any issues. So again, rates are unchanged, but like we just talked about, things are still moving. The market is heating up. We're going into 5 of the busiest months of the year. So get out there, the open houses, there are a ton of people that are out there shopping right now. For government loans, your FHA, VA, rates are roughly around 6%. Conventional financing, your mid to high 6s. And then any of your non-QM products like your bank statement loans, your P&L loans, 1099 loans, roughly about 7 to 7.25%. If you need anything from me over the weekend, I'll be available. And happy Mother's Day to all the mothers on here.
All right. Well, thank you, Scott. Anybody have questions for Scott? I have noticed. I mean, it happened almost overnight. There were no buyers, and then all of a sudden there were buyers.
Yeah.
I have a client who's wanting to cancel his listing, but I'm going to write to him today and say, no, you're going to duck out right before it hits.
Hmm.
So, yeah, if anyone has any listings that are starting to age, be sure and let them know that we're turning a corner here.
Also too, as far as the listings, the last couple months or to start the year, I want to say listings were on market like 30 plus days. They were kind of
Yeah.
sitting. For San Bernardino County, the average time on market was 18 to 23 days. And then Riverside County was 18 to like 26 or 27 days.
Hmm.
So things have definitely picked up. So definitely you can let the seller know like things are turning and he'll have that property listed and under contract pretty quick.
Yeah. Well, right on. Any other questions?
Are there any new grant programs or like for people that are wanting to buy, but they're like, I don't have a lot of down payment right now for Riverside and San Bernardino counties?
So I we're not yet, but I'll give you a little teaser because I do get a lot of questions on this. And I know a lot of you are familiar with MPHS, which is a nonprofit organization out of San Bernardino County here, and they provide grants for Riverside, San Bernardino, and LA counties. A lot of these are funded to where once the money's gone, it'll replenish. So it's like you have to get your reservations in. We should be approved with them beginning to mid-June. And they have some really, really cool stuff for first-time home buyers.
In
Scott,
Riverside and San Bernardino counties only, or
Even LA County, parts
okay.
of LA County.
Oh, good.
I'm so excited to hear about that because I have been trying to get clients to look into that, and I don't know. I send them to the website to get information on it because they have to fill it out, and then I
Hmm.
don't know what happens from there. You know, like I
Yep.
never hear back, so I'm so excited because there's a disconnect.
Yep. Yeah, so I'm really excited about it. Like I said, I've had a number of questions over the years, from especially from CalCurb, on this product. They're the ones that we most commonly talked about, like the $100,000 grant
Mm-hmm.
to first-time home buyers, and that's one again. Once the funds are used, it will replenish. But yeah, I'm excited for it.
Will you be a
Or-
direct contact for that, Scott? I'm sorry to cut you off. Would you be a direct contact for that once
yes.
it's approved? Oh, I love
Yes.
it.
And
Awesome.
this is through, and I've talked about it in BWI, but my brother-in-law is the one that runs the San Bernardino uh facility, but he's like uh he's way up there and stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm, you know, technically shouldn't, but I'll hear potentially about things before they're out there. So I'm really excited about it.
I am so excited. Yes, you're bridging a gap in,
Yeah.
so
Love it.
I'm excited. What is your brother-in-law's name, Scott?
His name is Greg
Greg.
O'Donnell.
Okay. Because I do talk with a few people over that way, being in
Okay.
we manage a few of their properties now.
Oh, okay.
About
Awesome.
10 of their properties.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm really excited about this gap being bridged. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so once we're on approved, ready to go, my plan is to set up either a Zoom or office meeting to get him to present on the products.
Ah, awesome. And you're thinking mid-June?
Probably, yeah, mid-June.
Awesome. Thank you for that. I'm
Yep,
excited.
me too. Me too.
Thank you for answering
You're
that.
welcome.
Yes,
Good
that's good
news.
news. Great news.
All right. All right. Well, thank you, Scott. I appreciate you all the time. Feel free to hang out, but if you need to go, that's totally fine too.
Yep, I'm gonna
Um,
hang out till 10.
okay. Today we're going to talk about something that is really, really important and something that I don't think we talk about nearly enough, especially with our brand new agent, Ashley. I want to give her some guidance as far as what do you do in your day to day? What does being a real estate agent look like? And when you get up in the morning and you have your coffee and you're ready to real estate, what is it you're doing? What is that? And I think it's going to be a good reminder for everybody else too. I always need to be reminded of, what I need to be doing. Um, Another thing that I wanted to just touch on is like your morning routine. I recently had to be reminded of that too. What is my morning routine and how much does it affect the rest of my day? I was talking to somebody and they asked me, "What's your morning routine?" And I said, "Well, I get up in the morning, I watch the news, and I drink coffee for about an hour." And they were like, "What? You do what?" And he just recommended, why don't you take a walk instead of having that news that is just pretty much negative energy filling your head before you start your day. And let me tell you, I started doing that and it has changed everything. It's changed my energy level, it's changed my mood. There's so many good things wrapped up in that. And it was this tiniest change, the tiniest change. So take a look at that, sometime this week. And then we're going to talk about your database and how when somebody says, are you working your database? What the hell does that mean? So I'm going to kind of tell you what that means. So first of all, why why do you need to maintain a database? First of all, and some people call it a CRM, some people call it a database. I actually prefer when you're new to start off with something as simple as possible. I know there's some CRMs out there that will do everything except the dishes. Sometimes all of those bells and whistles kind of distract from the purpose of why you're doing this in the first place, right? So, you need to be very organized when you are reaching out to your clients. Let me back up. So I'm going to share my screen with you. I'm just going to make a very simple model of what a database should look like, no matter how much you pay for it or how little you pay for it, or whether you're just doing an Excel spreadsheet. So let me just share my screen. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and many of you will recognize what this is. It's just an Excel spreadsheet. So you have in your day-to-day, you have different types of people that you meet. You have pretty much four. We can break it down into four different types of people. We have a prospect. What is a prospect? A prospect is simply somebody you know nothing about. In fact, you probably have a lot of prospects in your phone. And it doesn't mean you don't know them. It doesn't mean you don't know anything about them. It simply means you don't know their real estate needs. So when we don't know if they need a real estate agent, if they're going to sell, if they're going to buy, if they have a son or daughter who's going to buy, they're called a prospect. So we're going to name this little tab down here prospect. Okay. All right. So another type is called a lead. And we talk about leads a lot, but I think the meaning or the definition of the word lead kind of gets lost because it's kind of a catch-all term. Anybody who we're going to be talking to about real estate, we call them a lead. But really, a lead is somebody who is a prospect that you've actually learned that they have a real estate need. So it's a prospect with a real estate need. Okay. So if you we don't know in your phone, you don't know how many leads you actually have. Until you know their real estate need, they're going to be a prospect. Okay. Once you know their need, then they become a lead. We treat them differently. And that's why the organization of the database is so incredibly important. You don't want to just dump everybody in a bucket and send them all the same damn message. No, because they're at different levels. And by breaking them up into these buckets, we can message to them in a similar way if they are similar to the people that they're grouped with. Okay, next group, we have a client, right? What's a client? That's easy. A client is somebody we are under contract with. That is our goal. That is what we strive to do every day. Get under contract with someone. Okay. The last one is kind of like everyone else. And I don't want you to think this is kind of a catch-all or, it's kind of like throwing them away. These are very, very, very important. I would have to say in your database, this is the most important group because this is your sales force. These are your sales agents. These are your feet on the ground. These are the people you want to talk to in a very specific and special way because these are the people who just bought, right? After they're a client and they've closed the transaction, you have to move them to a different bucket in your database, but you you don't want to leave them a client because they're no longer a client to you. Now they are in this last group, and we're going to call these, I have different names, but I like calling them fans. Like they're your raving fans. If you've ever read the book, these are your fans. Okay, so after somebody's closed a transaction, you put them in the fan bucket. And like I said, these people are very special. You really want to show them a lot of love because this is the group that is going to be talking about you, that are going to be telling their neighbors about you, that are going to be helping you get more clients. These are the people you send the newsletter to. These are the people that you want to help, you want to give them resources, you want to, you just really want to stay close to this group. So if you notice how I wrote this out, it follows a trail, right? So when I suggest to agents that they should start their database, I'm saying put every contact that you know in your phone, in your email, in your class, in your group, in your meeting, every single person that you know should be in your database without exception. Because like I just said, they do not ever have to be a client or ever have the possibility of being a client to be in your database and to be a very useful addition to your database. Philip just walked in. So the first step we want to take is to just dump everyone into the database. This is so easy because it's a matter of if you have like a MailChimp account, just upload those contacts, put them in your database. If you have, your Facebook friends or your Instagram, your people on Instagram, just, put them in there. Everybody goes in there. The second step to that, though, is to put them in the correct place, right? So if I were to start my database, I'm going to go to my contacts in my phone first, and I'm going to type the letter A.
I don't know where they're recording that.
Okay,
Maybe someone else?
I'm going to mute him. Okay. So I would start with the letter A. And I would just go down the list until I'm out of A's and then I'll go to B, right? And I'll put these people in. The first person in my phone is his name is Art Acosta. Art is a broker friend that I know that I actually worked with for a very short time because I was getting my broker's license and I needed to hang my license somewhere. And he was kind enough to allow me to hang my license there. What area of this database would he go in, right? He's a broker. He's not going to have any real estate needs. I would say he's a fan. He is somebody I want to stay connected to, somebody I want to know, him to know what I'm doing or what my needs are. If I'm recruiting agents, then I want him to know that because maybe he's got someone in our area that would be perfect. You know, he's in another area, so that makes it a little bit different. If he were in my area, then maybe it wouldn't be so cut and dry. The next person in my phone is Amy Adams. That's my cousin. So now, what about people that live far away? Do they go in your database? Absolutely, because you don't know if they know people in your area. And if they know somebody who's moving to your area, they could possibly provide you with a referral of somebody who's moving to this area, to your area. So there's nobody you want to exclude. You want to put everybody in your database. And then once everyone's in there, then you want to put them in the correct bucket. Okay. Now, when you let's say you have your database full, and that's going to take you a while, you know. Oh, also, when you get your farm lists from Aaron or the title person you're working with, you want them to go into your database as well. Now, there's different tags and things that you can use. You can get as fancy as you want. This is just the basics. If I put my farm into my database, I am going to put them all as prospects because I do not know their real estate needs. So once I have everybody in there and my farms and whatever lists I have, then I'm going to start working my database. What does that mean? Well, everybody's now a prospect, right? We need to find out, do you have a real estate need? So the first touch I'm going to make with all my prospects is to ask them, do you have a need for a real estate professional? Are you going to be moving soon? And there's a million different ways to ask this and a million different channels you could use to ask this, right? So, you know, and I find this part fun. You know, let's say in my database, I have this person, Adam El Masri. He's a unit owner over at Edge Hill, and I just happened to have him in my phone because we were talking on some other level. I think he has a printing company, but I could just simply send him a text message. Well, I could look in Title Pro. I could look his name up and see how much property he does own. And then I could look him up on social media. And then I mean, there's a lot of research that you can do before you even reach out to the person. And that's actually what you want to do. You don't want to go in cold. Any information that you can find out, go ahead and find it out. I know a little bit about him, but I don't know if he's getting ready to sell. But what I will do is I'll run a Title Pro on him. I'll see how much property he has. Then I'll run his property in the MLS to see if he's got something listed, right? If he's got something listed, then I can see who his agent is. But if he doesn't have anything listed, well, then he might be getting ready to sell. He would be a good person to just give a call to or a text message or an email to say, hey, you know, I don't know if you know this, but I'm in the real estate industry, and I was wondering if there's any help I could provide to you. And, you know, that's going to be you're going to do that in your own style. I find that real estate agents have the hardest time with this part of the database working, is the actual reaching out to the client. But it's a necessary evil. It's something that you need to become comfortable doing. And let me tell you, the first few times you are not going to be comfortable. It will not be a comfortable thing to do. But there are things that you can do to make it less uncomfortable. For instance, you know, doing the research beforehand, finding out as much as you can before you connect with this person. That part can be kind of fun. And, if you find something in your research, like let's say I find him on social media, which I'm pretty sure we're connected on social media, I can look through his social media and maybe find out something interesting about him that will be a conversation opener. Maybe, I know for a fact that he had some work done on his unit. Maybe I could just follow up and say, hey, how'd that work go? I'm always keeping a list of good contractors. Would you recommend me yours? There's all kinds of way we can break the ice with those conversations. Okay, so that's the first step. Once you go through your entire database and put each contact in the correct place, that's going to take you a while. But once that's done, then you are going to, every single day, you have to set aside a certain amount of time to work your database. Now, let's say, well, the rule of thumb is, and I've heard this many different places, is that when you have a prospect or a lead, you probably, or no, I'm sorry, a prospect, you need to touch them, reach out to them at least 4 times a year. So identify which 4 times that's going to be for each of your prospects, right? So for this guy, maybe I've decided, well, if I'm connected to him on social media, then I have his birthday. So I can always connect with him on his birthday and say happy birthday. There's all kinds of other holidays. Maybe I'll do a Luck of the Irish, and I'll do St. Patty's Day. And then I'll do the 4th of July and one to right now. Okay. But I'll choose those. I'll pick those in advance. And then I'll put little reminders in my database of when I'm going to reach out to him. Everybody, when you're going through your prospects, you should connect with them or send something to them or call them first. You should always have that first call, because that first call or that first connection may lead you to move them from a prospect to a lead. Okay, so once you've done that, now at the end of your going through your database and calling everybody in your prospects, everyone should be in the category that they need to be. Now, once everybody's categorized, then you're going to do things like maybe on Fridays, you want to make sure that your fans are taken care of. So you build a newsletter. So you have a newsletter that goes out to all your fans on one time a month, and it's going to have the market updates. It's going to have, just a bunch of fun stuff. And then for your leads, a lead is somebody who does have a real estate need. So for prospects, 4 times a year, but for leads, you just found out that they have a need, right? So now you need to kind of treat them a little bit differently. What is their need? Maybe they have a house and they're thinking about selling it this summer. So you don't want to reach out to them 4 times a year. You want to be checking in with them. You're going to know how often, but generally it's weekly or every 2 weeks, because you want to check in with them. So you don't want to just say, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Because that's dumb. But what you can do to stay connected is, hey, this week I ran the comps on your house. Here's the values. If you want me to update this, just let me know. In 2 weeks, then you send something like some news article that talks about the interest rates, or the whether it's a buyer's or seller's market, and kind of make a prediction about the summertime when he intends to sell, and show him that you have knowledge, that you have what it takes and the skills to get the job done. And then in the next 2 weeks, maybe you say, you know, in that 2 weeks, you spend time maybe talking to some of your leads that are looking for a house and mention that, hey, I know a guy over here who's selling his house, and maybe get some interest going. And then your third email to your lead could be, look, I've talked to my buyers and I think that I can probably bring you 3 or 4 buyers. You know, so does that make sense? Does anyone have any questions at this point? I feel like I've just been blah. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing this. We're almost out of time, but I do want to check in with you. Does anyone have any questions regarding how to work a database?
Don't worry, Bobby, you didn't just keep going for too long. It's fine. Everybody feels that way when they're on Zoom. They're like, oh
I
my God, I've
know.
talked too
It's
much.
like, did you get that?
Actually, yeah, I wanted to mention something because one thing that helped really a lot for me this year,
Mhm.
and I wish, hold on a second, let me see if I can do, let me, yeah, okay. Yeah, it ain't the prettiest of mornings today, guys. Um, I did something that I learned in that coaching program I was in, that regardless of having the database, if you have
Mhm.
that, or maybe you don't have it set up yet or whatever, if you have specific hot leads, you know, people that are maybe more inclined to do something more quickly, like maybe within the next 1 to 2 months,
Yeah.
that are just that you want to focus on more,
Mhm.
because there's always going to be those people that are in your database that you're just going to be long term speaking to,
Yeah.
or whatever,
Uh-huh.
is to have a little tiny whiteboard or whatever, on your wall,
Mhm.
or maybe you keep it on your desktop or something that you can just physically see every day, where you have a very short list of those people that you really need to stay in contact with,
Yeah.
like right now,
Mhm.
especially if they've become a client. So clients would go on that, and then like hot leads would go. I had two separate one for leads, one for clients, and there was, specific information that I would have there, like when I'm going to contact them next, what's the next action that we discussed that needs to be taken,
Yeah.
or what their price point is, more details about where they're located. So at a glance
Mhm.
in the morning, like they would be the first ones that you would follow up with, and then everybody else after that, you
Yeah.
know? And that was really, really helpful because I never used to do that before. And I think the hot leads, we get kind of lost in everything else.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was super helpful. And oh, sorry, I'm looking at my notes and my eyes have not adjusted to being awake yet. Um, oh, in a recent webinar, they were saying over 70% of business that real estate agents get comes from their database.
That's right.
70%.
That's right. That's right. And that's why we have to spend so much time in it, working it. And if anyone ever had any questions about what should I be doing today, just ask me because I can break it down to you. Just show me your database. I will give you some actionable steps that you can take to get somebody interested and to get yourself out there showing homes in the next, hour. So I think this is just the best way to do your job as a real estate agent is to work this database.
Yeah. And that's the great thing about the CRM, because I mean, yeah, you can do it in Excel. Yes, you can do it on a piece of paper, but the fact that it can remind you when the next step is, and that you can set those appointments in there, or you can put them. I remember the last time I had in the last DCRM I haven't done that one this one yet. I built like a little reminder sequence. So
Yeah.
if I put them in that sequence, it would automatically do the reminders for me, like now you got to do this, now you got to send this, now you got to, contact in this way,
Mhm.
without me having to like think that through every time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's super helpful. And what else was there? Um, oh, the referral partners. That's a big one in my list.
Mm-hmm.
So they're kind of like what you mentioned, the fans,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not like everyday folks. They're people in our industry
Mm-hmm.
or specifically people that would be in similar industries that would be referral partners. They're the ones that you're actually going to ask for referrals and
Yeah.
like have that discussion with them, like, I'm going to send you referrals, you're going to send me referrals, okay? You
Mm-hmm.
know. And you can add agents in that, agents that are not in your area that you
Yeah.
can refer business to.
Mm-hmm.
From my trips, I think I put 3 in there that were in Georgia and South Carolina.
Yeah.
And then when somebody's going to move there, well, there you go.
Yeah. And it saves you all that time because we can find referral agents in other areas to be a referral for our client, but it's really hard to know who you're dealing with. If you've met them on one of your trips and you got a good vibe, it's going to take a lot of that worry away because you're comfortable with the person that you're referring your client to,
Yeah.
and you know you're going to get that referral amount when you send the agreement. I don't know how many times I've not known the person well. I just called and I sent the referral form out there and never heard a word. Maybe my client didn't even work with them. Who knows? But I just never heard back. So, yeah, that's really good. And I'm glad to hear that you are talking real estate when you're out of the area. I mean, that's so
Do we
smart.
stop? Do we really stop ever?
No, not really.
I mean, I wasn't working, but
Yeah.
actually, that's a good one for those agents that really want to keep it part-time and don't have time to work in transactions,
Mm-hmm.
because getting referral commissions is a big one.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't
Do
even have to
nothing.
be agents that are out of your area. It can be agents that are maybe just in slightly different zones or whatever, or um, just finding people that you can refer, and
Mm-hmm.
then that they can refer business back to you,
Mm-hmm.
and asking them, hey, do you have anybody coming to my area? And just keeping that top of mind for them. That's a big one. That could be a lot of money. Some agents make most of their money that way.
Yeah.
So
You're absolutely right. Even somewhere like Big Bear, it's not that far, but it's far enough that I don't want to drive up there every day.
yeah.
Tanya.
I would say find somebody in Las Vegas. A lot of people go from California to Las Vegas back. I did that. It was a nice commission. I was surprised how much you can get. And then Northern California, people that are in Northern California. So just if you know someone, I know we don't have offices there, but you can look up somebody and see who's hot in the area. They would send people down to Southern California. We send people up there sometimes too. Are those outlying areas out of Oakland and all those other places that we don't want to drive up to and deal with. But we do have people that we might be selling the house here and go in there. You can get double commissions because your referral fee up there, and then that's what I do at Vegas. So I got my seller here, and then got the Vegas commission there.
That's
So
right. That's right.
And
And
and we got to be realistic. People are moving out of California all the time. We hear it.
that's too.
They go to, like you said, Vegas. They go to Texas.
Mhm.
They go to Florida.
Mhm.
Top 3 places they go.
Mhm.
Have
Arizona.
people there, and those states are
Arizona.
big. You can't be like, I'm going to refer you to a guy in Florida, and he's in South Florida, but they're going. It's got to be in the right area.
Yeah. Yeah. But a lot of times too, if you find a referral agent in another area and you have somebody that's not quite in that area, you can always ask them, and maybe you get a smaller referral, but it's better than nothing, and it's for a little tiny bit of work. I know agents that only do referral work and make a lot of money. So they never actually do a transaction. They just give referrals to other agents. And it's a great way to operate if that's what you want to do. So it can be quite lucrative. Mm.
Yeah, that's great information. Thanks, ladies. I'm actually working on one now where I do have a referral in Arizona.
Oh,
So,
nice.
yeah, so and it's turned out really well, and she's on fire in Arizona. So it's a great connection. Um,
Fun.
I do have a question. I'm changing the subject just a little bit, but have you ladies worked on your HubSpot CRM.
I have.
So have you tagged them in there by what you're speaking of, Bobby, as prospects and leads? And if you
Yeah.
have, what
Yeah.
was what was the easiest way for you to do that?
So when you put them in, it asks you if you want to put where the lead came from. I always recommend doing that because you get leads from various locations, and you may want to do a mailer or a campaign based on where you got the lead. But then right after that, it asks you how you want to categorize them. Tanya, do you have better?
Yeah. Okay. When you originally set it up, have you already set up Chastity?
I have, and I imported, so I don't know if that makes a big
Oh, okay.
difference.
Made it maybe a difference. I imported, well, I imported two. Okay. So I didn't, I didn't check to see once I imported where they put them. But when you originally start up, it does ask you to make different, like prospect, like she said, all the different headings. You give your heading ones, and you type those in. You can even change with because they came with some like four already in there. Like
Yeah.
Right.
you can
Okay.
change it to what you want them all to say. And then I think you have to at that point when you open the lead, I think you can label it in the lead on the right hand side of the corner. I think there's like you want to label it prospect. You there's a place that you can make
Yeah.
it to where it goes into that folder.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll play around with it a little bit. I just was wondering how you did it, how it worked best for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think once you open each one,
Uh-huh.
there's definitely a place to label it once you open it.
Once you open it. So that's okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Thank
Yeah.
you for that insight.
Yeah.
Like that.
And the HubSpot does have a lot of bells and whistles, and there's a lot of different things that you can tag each lead with. And I recommend using as many as you're comfortable using. Sometimes it can get a little bit confusing if you have too many, and then it'll actually slow you down. I find that if you want to tag the type, whether it's a prospect, lead, client, or fan, and then where you got the lead, whether it was a tournament or Facebook or your phone, and then tag one other detail that you would want to sort by. So keep that in mind. If it's not as something that you're going to ever want to sort your leads by or see, I do too, sort your database by, then don't even use it because that's its only purpose is to use it to sort your database. I also like to get information like birthdays and, all that kind of detailed information, but those aren't things that you would sort by. That's just detail about the person. I don't know. I think maybe we should try and have maybe a workshop where we all can work on our HubSpot and become more comfortable with it. If you all are interested, I could put something like that together too.
I
Yeah,
think that's
that's
a
an
great
important
idea.
one. Yeah.
For,
Okay.
because to figure out the best way,
Yeah.
because the way I do it, and if I see Tanya does it better, it gives me great
Mhm.
ideas. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, we can all learn from each
Yeah, for
other.
each other. Yeah.
And
Mhm.
think of it that way too, like some tags are going to be temporary, because like let's say they're a hot lead. That's a temporary thing, right? Or they're you can have tags stacked on top of each other so they can be the main category can be a lead
Mhm.
or a past client, but then you can have additional tagging on top of that simply to sort so
Yeah.
that you can pull out the guy that you got from that particular source or that's in your farm or whatever, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, databases are really fun once you get them set up, and it makes doing real estate a lot of fun because you always have, and I like when when I get up in the morning, I do my morning routine. I like that couple of hours to sit and work my database. That gives you the kind of a roadmap for the rest of the day because you open it up and the database will likely tell you what you need to do. Like if you set your the appointments or the times in there, it will tell you, look, you need to call this person, this person, this person, and this person today. And then whatever those phone calls happen to turn out like, that means maybe you're showing homes today, maybe you're listing a house today, maybe you're doing some research today, but you will be doing something today
Yeah.
around real estate. And the more that you are working in real estate, the more business is going to be attracted to you. There's nothing worse than a real estate agent watching TV or watching their phone, and not doing anything, because there's nothing to attract business to you in that way, unless you're working your social media and you're working that angle. But if you're not out there, if people can't see that you work in this industry, they're not going to be knocking at your door. They just will not. But if you're out there showing a home, the neighbors are going to see. The people that the person you're showing the homes, they're going to know, because those people are going to be telling them, look, I'm out showing homes, or I'm out looking at homes. So it just opens up your sphere of influence, more than you probably even realize. So yeah.
I'm going to say something. I know that I get these calendars every year from my title officers, and I know that Aaron gave them out at the beginning of the year. I mean, Aaron gave them out at the beginning of the year to all of us from First American. This one's for Fidelity. I have Aaron's on my bed right now because I was actually working. But I'll just show you an example, because if you don't you can't stand on task if you don't have it written down for me. Because you get pulled one way, you get pulled the other way, or well, your mind will start saying, oh, well, you know what, right now I'm supposed to be calling, but I'll do that at 4. And then you get off at 4 because you wind up being with a client call or something. If you set times exactly like, this is what I'm going to do at this day, at this time, including your personal stuff in there too. Like, I'm going to spend an hour to do my walk, which you said in the morning. I'm going to do my morning hour, 30-minute prayer. This is what I'm going to do. I do prayer every morning. That's my quiet time. I turned the news off a while ago. I can't watch that anymore. So it doesn't make you depressed. It messes up your whole day. Like you said, if you go into a prayer or a walk or get your mind into something else, this is better. But like here, like, I don't know if you see, they're highlighted as I do them. This Mojo training was like when we used to call into cloud to clients. It was like an hour set there every day, every morning. We did it first thing in the morning, call on clients. There was a Flown Bits office meetings were in there. Open house. There's an open house I had on that Sunday. So it's like always everything's in here. And if you follow this, you're not going to miss anything, or something's going to get, sometimes we are. I saw Bobby. I'll just use your example, Bobby. I say Bobby sometimes, and she's all over the place. Like, she's here, she's there. She's got a lot going on. And I'm like, do you remember this? So if you write kind of things down and have certain things that say, okay, this is when I'm going to do this meeting. I'm like, with me in escrow, I'm like, this is my escrow hours. These are my time I'm going to do my calls. These are my times I'm going to do my real estate listing stuff. This is the time I work with Ashley on this thing, or do that with this person. It just keeps you in line. And just because I think if you just go off of like that morning with good intentions, you may have good intentions, but it doesn't get, by the end of the day, you're at 5 o'clock, you're like, I didn't get anything done.
Right.
So, and it really does happen that way. It's just human nature. So I found out using these things, these calendars, and we get them free. We get them from, Aaron, and I've used them. I got one for every year, and you can go back, and it's also a good place to write notes and different things about different people you meet and stuff. But every day, every week, it goes weekly. So I have them in here for every single week of what I've done. It just keeps me on track.
You know what else they're good for? Is at the end of the year when you need to do your taxes. If you've written in everywhere you went, where you showed houses, where you did an open house, that is the perfect backup for
And
all your
meetings.
mileage write-off.
Meetings and things like your food write-off, put your receipts in. There's places that you put different things in your, different other receipts and stuff in there, so you can keep everything. But they're a good tool. It's just it's a free tool. It's an excellent tool. And I've done one every year since, I don't know how I can remember, but yeah, this one's pretty cool. And yeah, it just keeps you on task. Yeah. And even if I said, if you sat at 5 o'clock, I'm doing that walk, or 6 o'clock in the evening, put it in there, do your walk,
Yeah, there's great power in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank
Totally,
you.
It
Tanya.
also feels good when you finish things and get to mark it off.
Correct.
You feel
I get my
productive,
little
and
check-
it
my little-
encourages you to keep
check mark.
going.
It's like, check mark. I did it,
Yeah,
So-
definitely a feeling of accomplishment. It's like being your own accountability coach. You don't
Right.
need anybody else. You have your book.
And I do it on my phone, but for some reason I'll miss the alarm. It doesn't go off. I don't remember. So I got both. So this happens to be, I know every morning it's open. It's in my desk, or I open it every morning to add new notes at night or something. So I know what's going on the next day. I've got a lot going on, so I have to write it down and know where I'm
Yeah.
going to be every day at a certain time.
Well,
Yeah.
and I like that you mentioned that, Tanya. We all wear multiple hats. There's
Mhm.
not one person that I know that has one hat. And when we're constantly doing that, I love how you said you have multiple books because you can have a book for, this hat and a book for this hat, or you can keep it all in one book, which, is helpful if that is how you operate best. But yeah, it's really impossible to keep everything straight if you're not using some sort of tool to do
And you
that.
can actually like use a yellow highlight for business stuff, use a pink highlight for personal stuff, like your kid's baseball game or a soccer game, or
I
somewhere you
do
have to
that
be
on
for them.
my digital calendar. I put them in
Yeah.
different colors based on personal
Mhm.
versus like education
Business.
or work or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
very helpful. Yeah.
It's just very helpful. And this way you're a better, like I said, I know we're all moms, as if you're a better parent because you're at the baseball event, or you're there because you have already allocated that time, or you can be looking at it when you're talking to a client going, no, I can't at 6 says I have. But if it's on your phone and you're on the phone talking, you're not really getting a chance, and you forget, you double book. Things like
You
that
know,
happen. So
you
I
mentioned
carry this
something
everywhere.
else. It helps you keep your boundaries. How
Mhm.
many times are we pulled to do something that, we didn't really want to do, and this person is pulling us? If it's written down, it helps you keep your boundaries. So you can
Yeah.
say, no, I really can't because I have this next thing coming up. Sorry.
I'm in the book. It's written in the book. Once it's in
In
the
the
book,
book.
it's in the book. It's in the book. Just
Yeah,
like
and
it is.
especially if you if you're like me, I'm here, you make your own schedule.
Yeah.
Nobody's telling me what to do at any time.
Hmm.
So it's really easy to just kind of glide through an hour and like let it overlap. And
Yeah.
the one thing I found that was the hardest when I really tried to start reaching out to people more this year, I would get caught up on my phone. So what I'm trying to do now is I will make a list in the evening of what I need to work on in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
or at the end of the day, whatever that's going to be. For me, that's usually in the evening because I'll do like personal stuff mid-afternoon and then I'll go back to work after that. Um, I leave all my creative stuff or planning who I'm going to talk to the next day for at the end of the day. Because if I try to do that kind of stuff in the beginning of the day, it'll just, rabbit hole. I'm in there
Yeah.
all day.
Yeah.
And same with my phone, trying to just prep anything I'm doing on social, for example, the night before. So in the morning, I just have to send it and maybe, like comment on a few things and that's it. And then I'm out.
Oh,
Because
that's really
otherwise
smart.
I get stuck in there. That one is easy to get stuck. Social's fun. I
Yeah.
want to I want to be on my phone for the next hour clicking on fun stuff. Sure, why not? Or the making phone calls was like, oh God, I have to sit down and make phone calls in the morning. I don't want to do that. But like you said, if you're doing any kind of activity in the morning, I don't care what it is, jump up and down, go for a walk, whatever. Do the calls right after that because you have like burst of energy
Hmm.
and that's perfect time. And then the harder part, if that's the calls for you, whatever, is done.
Yeah.
Checked, finished. Yay,
Yeah.
I'm fantastic. Let's
Yeah.
move on to the not so hard stuff.
Yeah, that's a good
Because
tip.
there's more stuff. It's not just calls. You have to send emails to people, follow up by text, maybe. You might be mailing them something. You might have to look something up and then research it or whatever. So I feel like the calls are the easiest ones to get done quickly, and then everything else after that.
Yeah.
I have to go. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
I just
okay.
realized
We
my
need to
drive to
wrap it
LA
up
is an hour and a
because,
half away.
yeah, I'm so sorry we did run over, but I think it was a good discussion. And bye, Tanya.
Bye.
Have a good
Have a good
Mother's Day.
weekend.
Sorry, you
Happy
guys.
Mother's Day, you
Happy
guys.
Mother's
Told me I
Day.
need to be in LA by
Call your
12 to
mom.
cook my dinner.
Uh-oh.
I gotta go.
Thank you
Bye.
Bye.
guys.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Happy Mother's Day. Bye
Happy
bye.
Mother's Day.